हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम बात कर रहे हैं कॉपीराइट के बारे में। कॉपीराइट की जो प्रीवियस ईयर का क्वेश्चन पेपर था LL.B 6 सेमेस्टर का, आज हम वो डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं, उसको सॉल्व करने जा रहे हैं। आते हैं पहले क्वेश्चन पे। जो हम पहला क्वेश्चन देखेंगे, पहला क्वेश्चन है द वर्ल्ड कॉपीराइट डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम एक्सप्रेशन। कौन से वर्ड से हुआ है? कॉपीज ऑफ वर्ल्ड। ये हमारा हो जाएगा पहला। When a person creates a work, he and she is author of the work and it's free to decide on it to use. इसका आंसर हो जाएगा हमारा all of these. Next, according to whom copyright is the right is labeled literally property as recognized and sanctioned by the positive law. तो इसका हमारा आंसर हो जाएगा ब्लैक लॉ डायरेक्टरी। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कॉपीराइट इज डिफाइंड इन आर्टिकल डैश ऑफ द बर्लिन कन्वेंशन 1886। ये हमारे किस में हुआ था? आर्टिकल 2 सब क्लॉज 1 में। नेक्स्ट, द फर्स्ट कॉपीराइट एक्ट वॉज पास्ड इन द ईयर 1914. Next, India is a member of both A and B. Next question, the copyright compromise the right of moral or economic both. Eight केस रिलेटेड टू कॉपीराइट इज और आर में से कौन सा कॉपीराइटेड केस है? RG आनंद वर्सेस डीलक्स फिल्म। द आइडिया कॉपीराइट प्रोटेक्ट began to emerged with the invention। जो 9th वाला इसका हमारा होगा पेंटिंग। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, डिस्प्यूट एंड लेजिस्लेशन ओवर द रिलेशन। तो इसका हमारा आंसर हो जाएगा सी, डोनाल्ड एक्शन वर्सेस बैकलेट। और कॉपीराइट रिका वर्बा इज रिलेटेड टू डैश ऑफ कॉपीराइट। तो इसका हमारा आंसर हो जाएगा इन्फ्रिंजमेंट, आंसर सी। द कॉपीराइट बिल 1957 came into force 21 January 1958. The Copyright Act 1955 has been amended by Amendment Act। ये हमारा हो जाएगा all of the above। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है इन विच सेक्शन ऑफ द कॉपीराइट एक्ट 1957 टर्म वर्क डिफाइंड। इसका आंसर में हो जाएगा 2Y। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, लिटरेरी वर्क includes all of the above। Music work means include any graphical notations। Musical work includes any word of any action intended to be dash with music। तो इसका आंसर हमारा हो जाएगा डी, नन ऑफ द अबव। ऐसे कुछ नहीं। In which section copyright act subject matter of copyright is defined? Section 13. Next, expression literally work is defined in which section of the copyright? हमारा कॉपीराइट है सेक्शन 2O. Definition of literally work, ये हमारा A-B both. Literally work covered that involves literary skill, judgment and labor, A-B both. The principle of diagnosis dash of literary work, ये हमारा जाएगा applies. Next question. In deciding whether there has been sufficient skill, the court take account all of the above. Next question. Literary work include works in nature of all of the above. A genuine abridgment of the literary work, all of the above. Burning Convention of the 1886 was aimed of protection of literally artist work. Next, abridgment was elaborated by Privy Council in the case of McLean and Co versus K&J Copper. For a cinematography, film author refers means producer. Case related to completion and literary work is or are, all of the above. Which amendment act of the Copyright Act makes provision for broadcast reproduction right? ये हमारा हो जाएगा 1944. अब देखते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The word transaction has been defined in which section? Transaction defined in the section of none of the above. ऐसे कुछ नहीं. Next question. Copyright is A-B both positive and exclusive right. Term dramatic work is defined in the section 2H. Under copyright law, fair use does not cover use for commercial purpose. The expression musical work has been defined in dash of the Copyright Act, section 2, subclause B. Term of broadcast reproduction right is, ये हमारा हो जाएगा आंसर 25 years. Next, the adoption of the musical work dash of the copyright protection, it also entitled punishment of infringement of copyright 6 months to 3 years. Next question. Case related to musical work and copyright is A-B both. Power of police to criticize infringing copies defined in the section 64। और जो भी लॉ स्टूडेंट्स हिंदी में जानना चाहते हैं, हिंदी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो मैं इंग्लिश में एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ, उस साइड में हिंदी में चल आप हिंदी में पढ़ सकते हो उसको, उसका कोई इशू नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं चाहता हूँ शॉर्ट में सारे MCQs कंप्लीट हो जाए और आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड हो जाए, इसलिए मैं सिर्फ इंग्लिश में एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ, आप हिंदी में देख सकते हैं। और हमारे चैनल को जरूर लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, ऐसे और भी लॉ रिलेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। विच सेक्शन ऑफ द कॉपीराइट एक्ट रिकॉग्नाइज वन मोटोग्राफी फिल्म एज डिस्टिंक्ट एंड सेपरेट क्लास ऑफ द वर्क? सेक्शन 13। The administration remedies against infringement of copies are defined in which section of 53? Next, for copyright case related to artistic cinematograph film is our Fortune Films versus Dev Anand. Next question, registrar of copyright appointed by central government. Copyright Amendment Act 1944 recognized certain special rights for performers, which includes all of the above. इनमें से सब आएंगे। Dash is not eligible for copyright mere vocalizations, typographic organizations. Next, 47. The music is the soundtrack is thereof dash the cinematograph film itself, ये भी both. The concept of joint authorship is recognized by which section of Copyright Act? ये हमारा हो जाएगा सेक्शन 2। Next question, the producer of a cinematograph film can be defeat the right of the composer of music by engaging him under section of the copyright. Section 17. Remedies provide under Copyright Act 1957 for copyright infringement is or are all of the above. Administrative, civil and criminal तीनों चीज़ें. Next, sound recording is defined in the which section of the Copyright Act? 2 subsection 10 and 10. Next question है, performer right is defined in definitions under section, कौन सा section defined है? 38. The performer's right will be subsequent for dash years from the year of the performance. तो हमारा हो जाएगा 50 years. 50 years. Next question, copyright protects expression, expressions. Next, sound recording covers recording of the all of the above. Next, power of central government to extend copyright on foreign work is defined under which section of the Copyright Act? Section 40. The Copyright Act dash the copyright is an idea non-recognized case related to copyright. An idea is R. Donaghy versus Align Newspaper Limited. Term author has been defined in which section of the Copyright Act? 2D. Under the section of dash of the Copyright Act 1957, author is the first owner of the copyright in which work. Section 17. Under the Copyright Act 1953, Section 6 of author dash for copyright. It is not important. Answer D. Next, the provision of Section 41 of the Copyright Act 1967 applies to organizable specified A and B both. Next question, the first owner of the copyright in musical work. Composer. Ownership of a copyright in the cinematography film best in हमारा हो जाएगा producer. Ownership of the copyright is the sound recording belongs to music composer. Rights creates by copyright is all of the above. Person who create the work is called all of the above. Author कहला सकता है, owner कहला सकता है, creator सब. The copyright constitute property rights. A, B both. Next, according to whom all system of the copyright protects have as their premium inspiration and the culture value of the authorship. W.R. Cornish. Next, for copyright, the term moral rights is translations of the dash dotted moral. तो इसका आंसर हो जाएगा फ्रेंच. After the transfer of economic right, moral rights remain with the author. The moral rights in a work which passed into public domain are protected by either A or B. 73. In which section of the Copyright Act moral right got recognized as special right of the author? ये हमारा हो जाएगा section 57. The true scope of law on moral rights in India was explained by the court in the case of Manu Bandali versus Kala Vikas Picture Private Limited. Next, in which section of the Copyright Act for broadcast reproduction right is defined? Section 37. Which section of the Copyright Act deals with the explanations to infringement in respect of perform? Section 87. Section 87 नहीं होगा, Section 52 होगा. Section 52 में एक्सप्लेन किया गया है. The making of copies or adaptation of the computer program for the dash does not constitute an infringement. तो इसका आंसर हो जाएगा हमारा ऑल ऑफ दी अबव. The term of copyright is dash for the enjoyment for copyright protection. A, B both. For musical work where the author is a natural person, the term of copyright lifetime of the author plus 60 years. Next, provisions of the section 822 of the Copyright Act is not available on photography work. In which article of the Berlin Convention 1971 termed copyright defined? Article 8. Term of the copyright is anonymous and pseudonymous work defined in which section of the Copyright Act? Section 23. Section 23 में defined है. Next question. The term copyright is cinematograph film is defined in the section of the dash of the Copyright Act. Section 26. In case of pseudonymous work of joint authorship refers to the author are described in which section of the Copyright Act 1957? तो ये हमारा हो जाएगा सेक्शन 23. सेक्शन 23. नेक्स्ट, copyright assigned on territorial basis. The owner of the copyright who assigned his or her copyright is called assigner. Under which section of the Copyright Act copyright is a literary work includes among other the exclusive right of public. ये हमारा हो जाएगा section 14. Which section of the Copyright Act deals with the mode of assignment of copyright? Section 19. Under Copyright Act, registration or assignment is or are not mandatory. When the period of assignment is not started in the agreement of the assignment itself deemed to be dash of the date of the assignment, 5 years. Answer C. The owner of the copyright is known as, answer A होगा, licensor. Next, provisions of the compulsory license is unpublished India work defined in which section of the Copyright Act? Section 31. Case related to assignment of copyright. इसका केस होगा, आंसर बी होगा, सुपर कास्टेड इंडस्ट्रीज वर्सेस एंटरटेनमेंट नेटवर्क इंडिया लिमिटेड. नेक्स्ट, डेवलप्ड कंट्री इज डिफाइंड इन विच सेक्शन ऑफ कॉपीराइट एक्ट? 32A में डिफाइंड है. नेक्स्ट, application of registration of copyright is defined in which section of the copyright? ये हमारा हो जाएगा आंसर सी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. अंडर कॉपीराइट एक्ट प्रिस्क्राइब्ड एप्लीकेशन फी फॉर द रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ कॉपीराइट इन अ लिटरली डायनामिक और म्यूजिकली वर्क इज ₹50 per work. आंसर ए। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, thoughts at not steal is directly related to of the copyright infringement, answer B। Next, civil remedies against infringement of the copyright are defined in which section of the Copyright Act? Section 55। Next question, which is or are related to atom pillar order? एटॉम पिलर ऑर्डर ये हमारा हो जाएगा डी, ऑल ऑफ दी अबव, ऑल ऑफ दी अबव, ऑल ऑफ दी अबव। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं, लास्ट जो हमारा है, विच सेक्शन ऑफ द कॉपीराइट एक्ट इट्स रिलेटेड टू क्रिमिनल रेमेडी अगेंस्ट इंफ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ द कॉपीराइट? तो ये हमारा हो जाएगा आंसर बी, सेक्शन 63, जो सेक्शन 63 में डिफाइंड है। ये हमारे 100 क्वेश्चंस कंप्लीट हो गए और आप लोगों को इनका जो भी PDF चाहिए वो मैं आपको अपनी टेलीग्राम चैनल पे प्रोवाइड कर दूंगा। मेरे टेलीग्राम का चैनल का नाम है लॉयर्स किंगडम, मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन पे दे दूंगा, आप डायरेक्टली वहाँ से डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। थैंक यू गाइस।